All right. Hello and good evening. So we are broadcasting from the podcast session for the NICE 2025. So I'm Fauzan, the host for today, and today we are joined by very special guest, Sara Hamlin, CEO of Enact Sweden. Enact Sweden is known globally for connecting startups with large corporates and helping innovation go internationally. So our topic today, going global by design, lesson from leading innovation nation, is about how countries like Sweden embedded global thinking right from the start. So Sarah, before we dive in, could you share briefly what Enact Sweden is all about and what drives its mission to connect startups with corporates?
Well, as you mentioned, we are a non-profit organization, and the idea is to help any types of startup in Sweden finding a customer.
Oh,
Which means that we work with the whole ecosystem,
Oh.
the whole innovation system. We introduce the startup for the first customer. So we understand the corporate. It could be a corporate, it could be a public sector. We understand the needs and challenges, and then we find the startup that has the solution for that problem.
oh.
So we help the corporate navigate, because they could be hard finding the right startup or navigating within an innovation
Yeah,
system.
correct.
So we help them with that. They
Oh.
don't have to meet 100 startups. They might only need to meet 3, but it's the right ones, right? And the startup actually get the potential to meet the customer. And that's the right person with the mandate that can actually make a decision. So the goal is to be in the middle to help them to communicate and to help them find each other.
Oh, yes. All right, that's great. So I think we can start to direct to our session today. So I want to know, Inex students connect startups with established companies. So why is this bridge building model more effective for global expansion than later startup navigate the market alone?
I think it saves them a lot of time because
that's
it's
right.
really hard for a startup to just call up a corporate or
Yeah.
a large organization and say, I would like to meet you and talk about
Yeah,
my
that's correct.
business. First of all, to navigate who should you talk to, who is the right person, that's super hard.
Yeah.
And even if you would get in contact with that person, to get them to have a meeting with you, they don't know about you. They don't. You don't have any credibility.
Yeah.
So it's super hard, and these processes take a long time for a startup. And we help them open that first door. Of course, they have to do the job. They have to negotiate.
Yeah.
They have to make the deal happen, right? We cannot do that for them, but we open the door for them, and that's, I think, saves them a lot of time.
Yeah, I think that's correct for your side because on our side, like I mentioned, to support your statement about that, Meranti also have to support in terms of startup. So we connect with other agency, but the companies should have put an effort put an effort to like pre-engagement first. Then after that, once they come to Meranti, then we can facilitate after that. That's the right thing actually.
Yeah.
All right.
But I think also another key is that we don't just have pitches on stage.
Yeah.
It's not random general pitches.
Yeah.
It is actually a one-to-one meeting between them. And it's actually, the startup has to actually ask questions to the corporate or to the public sector that they are meeting to understand them. And they have to maybe change their message a bit according to the customer. They cannot make a general pitch. They have to make adjustments, right? So I think the startup will learn more about the customer, more about the market, and that will help, like how they build their company, how they have a business model, how they build the technology,
Yeah.
and make it more efficient because they know the market better.
Yeah.
And also, it's not unnecessary meeting, so to speak, because you
Yeah.
only meet the startup that actually solve your problem, and the startup get the good potential to know the market better
Yeah.
and to adjust the message according to the customer, not just a general pitch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's correct because we need to guide them before they go to a pitch to the specific pitch VC outside there.
Exactly.
All right, so you have said that collaboration is the real catalyst for sustainable innovation. What are two ways government or innovation agency can help de-risk partnerships and encourage corporates to work with early stage startups?
Oh, that's a huge question, right? If I had the magic wand for that one, right? No, but I think what we can see is that it's, of course, both the public sector and the private sector are huge
Yeah.
markets for startups. So they
Yeah.
need to be able to access both of them. So I think from a governmental point of view or a public sector point of view, you should also try to be the first customer.
Yeah,
You should
that's
dare to work with startups, because if you do so, you will access a new market for the startup, but also you will learn a lot about how startup works.
Yeah.
In order to make the regulations or the programs or whatever you can decide on better for the startups. So I think you have to also be able to become a customer and dare to do so if you are a public sector.
Okay,
So I think that's one thing that is super important. But of course, I think it's also important, if we talk about startup in Malaysia, that there are possibilities to actually validate the product here in the market here.
Yeah.
Which means that you have to have test beds, stand beds in order to make that validation. You need to open up labs. You need to open up also, like I said, becoming a customer. But you also maybe have to have some kind of public fund that can actually do the first, when they raise money the first time, right? The first seed round. So you can actually also boost a bit of money into the startup and dare to be the first customer, but also the first investor, because that's the hard part for the startup.
Right.
They need to get the first customer, they need to get the first investor. If they get that, it will be so much easier for them to get the next one. So everyone must come together, both corporates and public sector, to make this happen. But I think it's crucial for startup in Malaysia, if they're going to be able to exist and to continue like being a success and in the long run become a global actor and a unicorn, they need to have like the first investor, first customer. That's the key.
Yeah, all right. I think that's great actually, because that's come NTI's National Technology Innovation Sandbox, where I be part of the team that we support the companies or startups that want to do the validation, like you mentioned.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so
you're on the way now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an analyst of the team actually. So I do engage with the startups company. So they mention, so we need fund to do the validation. If not, we cannot move.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Then we fund them to do the validation, but the technology readiness level must be at 6, where they have done internally. So if they come to us, we want to go. They do the final validation only, where thereby our program have our partnership, which is we do have our sandbox site where they can do the testing. Like you mentioned, they need the test site. So if not, they need to spend money to do the lab to open the facilities. But however, we collab with these partners, like mentioned, all the biotech partners, agri-tech partners. So they just come to us, seek for the funding, and then we help them to connect with the site. So they just doing the validation test and commercialize after that. So that's great, I think. So I think maybe the next additional question for you, maybe as expertise in this area. So do you see difference between how Sweden and Southeast Asian countries like Malaysia approach this collaboration?
Oh, you mean Malaysia specifically, or like the region?
Yeah, Malaysia specifically.
Yeah. I think you're very open and would like to collaborate and would like to start a partnership with both like in the country, but also regionally and outside because we can see that when we're talking to Malaysia and Meranti especially, that you're very open and you are willing and you would like to test things and you would like to learn things, and I think that's the best way to go about it. I think that in Sweden we have that like in our DNA, because we are also a small country, right? We need to collaborate in order to make stuff happen, and I think if you are willing to trust people and to trust organizations and actually be open enough to work together, I think that's the best way to go forward, and it's the key, because no one can solve the global challenges that we have alone, right? We need to work together, and I think that's the key to everything.
Yeah, I think there's Malaysia going to that area. So because currently we also want to see that in a globally. So we try to do the collaboration. So previously we done the benchmarking with the Thailand, see on the regulatory part, and then we done with the South Korea, and then in the upcoming benchmarking will be Saudi Arabia. So we want to see all the around the world to see
Right.
the countries how they do the system or in the helping the ecosystem, innovation ecosystem to help the startups there. So maybe in the future we try to bring our local companies to be tested maybe in Sweden,
Yeah,
or Sweden
Of
company can
course,
come to
of
Malaysia to do the testing.
I would
Yeah,
like that. I
I
think
think
it's a win-win, right?
yeah.
Because we have different things that we're good in,
Yeah.
and I think that we complement each other. So
Yeah.
I think it's a really good idea.
Very good idea.
We
I think
should do that.
we should do that.
decide that right now, right?
All right.
If we had the mandate, which we don't.
Yeah,
But,
we should do that.
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. All right. So I think, and the next question is, in an innovation nation, success isn't just about inventing, but scaling. Yes, we want to grow, we want to get up, go more. So what are the key elements of going global by design strategy that a country like Malaysia could adopt to move local innovation from pilot stage to international export faster? So we want to grow like you, to grow
But
fast.
I could say, if I should say something bad about Sweden, I mean, we have a lot of IP, which we don't commercialize. So we have a lot of IP. We are
Yeah.
in top of the class in that one. And we have a lot of unicorns. We're top of the class in that one. But we have also a lot of IP that is never commercialized,
Commercialized,
right? So I think that we should be better at.
Yeah.
So just saying we're not perfect.
No, are people perfect.
No, but I think it's in our DNA in Sweden to think globally from the start,
Yeah.
because and every startup learned this. So I think that design locally, design and prototyping is done in Sweden, but
Yeah.
then the scaling is done globally.
Oh.
So I think it's in DNA from the start, because the domestic market in Sweden is so small, right? We cannot survive just handling. Well, we can, but you will never grow and become a really huge startup.
So
Right? It's not a scale up, but of course you can stay in.
So is it the startups going globally by the help of Ignite Sweden? Did you help the startups companies to grow globally?
Yeah, the idea about Ignite Sweden came up because we can see that the startup had a easier finding a customer abroad than in Sweden, and also that the corporates in Sweden or the public sector didn't work with startups. They were very immature of that. So our goal is to, of course, work for Sweden as a country. We want to make it grow, which means that we would like the small startup to grow.
Yeah, correct.
But of course, also we would like them to stay in Sweden, right? We don't want them to leave the country when they're growing.
Yeah.
But if you find the first customer in Sweden, and then you can scale globally, because if you have the first maybe 1 or 2, 3 customers in Sweden, you will also have the main office in Sweden. But then, of course, if you scale globally, you can have other offices, but the main office will be in Sweden.
Yeah.
But if you find the first customer in another country, the main office will be in that country, right? So our goal is to help them get the first, maybe second, third customer in Sweden, but then also help them getting customers abroad. So we work with corporates from 23 countries at the moment. So it's not just Swedish corporates, and the Swedish corporates that we work with, of course, have businesses globally also. So we should help them both in Sweden, but also globally. Which means that we work with really early stage startups in the beginning that hasn't had their first customer or validate the product even, and then also the ones that are scaling globally. So we can help any type of startups in any phase. That's the whole idea.
Yeah, I think that's great actually, because in our program also we also advise the startup or companies to actually secure the market in Malaysia first. So before you go into global. So that's the data from Mr. Safwan, we mentioned it before. So 9 of our program do the expansion to the globally, internationally. So they have done the validation in Malaysia and they grow well. And then right now they go to international. So because get demand there. So, but they need to prove it in Malaysia first.
Of course, because otherwise no one will trust them.
Yeah, that's
It's
correct.
like, okay, you are someone saying
Yeah.
that you can do this, but you have no
No
proof of it, and you're from
Yeah.
another country, so why should I trust
Yeah.
you, right? So but you have it validated, then you get the trust.
That's the thing. We need to
Yeah.
prove it first before.
Yeah.
If not, the outside, maybe the customer will ask, "Why you not prove yet in
Exactly.
Malaysia?"
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you want to grow
Yeah.
internationally, so
Exactly.
more or less you need to prove it in Malaysia also in your country first. So all right, next is when a startup is ready to expand abroad, what's the most important lesson from leading innovation nation about choosing which market to enter first? So
$1 million question, right?
of course,
But I think that a lot of startup goes too broad too quickly. I think go deep first before you go broad, right? I think the key is to maybe identify 1 or 2 markets that you would like to enter, analyze them a bit, understand how is the regulation, how's the culture,
yeah.
because also you need to learn, if it's a completely different culture, you need to
Yeah.
know about it, right?
That's correct.
And you need to handle that. So I think deep dive in 1 or 2 new markets, get to know them, have partners in each country or each market that has credibility,
Yeah, correct.
and work with that first, like one partner in that market that can
correct.
actually help you learn a lot, but also get the credibility from that market before you spread it out to 10 different markets, because then you will be all over the place and no resources and you will die. So I think focus a bit in the beginning, learn a lot, and then scale it up.
Yeah, you need to study the market first,
yeah,
and then
you
see the
need to do
culture
it.
first,
Yeah.
because it's not easy to grow actually, to go the
No.
nationally, because there's a lot of many factors that you need to see. So maybe, like you mentioned, maybe do a collaboration with the companies, the partners or international partners, and then help the startups to understand the market first.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Another thing is beyond securing capital, what non-financial metric do Swedish startups use to measure their readiness and success in entering new market, rather than non-financial things? What they do?
I mean, it's
what they measure?
a lot of different metrics, but I think that one metric is, of course, to measure customers. Like, do you have any attractions from potential customers? Do you have the capacity to actually to grow to that market? I think that's the metric that is really good to know, to have, and what it takes to go to that. I think it's also very different depending if you're software, if you're hardware, if you're deep tech, or like it's different metrics for different sectors. But I think you have to measure, like, of course, the maturity of the startup in different ways. Of course, you have some kind of financial resource in order to scale internationally, because that requires a lot of money, right?
The team.
Exactly. So, but you have to also see the traction with the market, I would say, and what kind of problem do you solve, right?
Yes.
Because you have to focus a lot, not just on the technology or your little baby, but also, okay, what is it for another company or another person, right? Why should I buy it? Why should I use it?
You need to
you need to have this crystal clear before you go international. If you don't have it, you will die. I think, because no one will understand you and take you seriously. So you need to have it crystal clear. Okay, what is the problem that I'm solving? How can I help you?
All right. So, okay. I think another question is, if you could change one thing in the global innovation ecosystem to make it easier for transformative startups to achieve global scale and impact, what would it be?
Oh, I would love to be able to change that, to be able to work and to start a company, or to stay in a country just independently on what kind of identity you have. That would be great, because it's a super challenge for talent to move to other countries or to open up your company in another country. That is the hardest challenge, and also for startups to attract talent from other countries. And that's the main way of growing, right? To be able to work together in a better and smoother way. So if I could change that, that would be my one thing to change, but it might be a bit hard.
All right, I think that there's a good idea. I think actually, yes, we need to more focus on our local first, then we can grow. And personally, what has been the most rewarding part of leading Ignite Sweden on this global journey?
Oh, I love my job every day because
Yeah,
everyone is
you seem
happy.
passionate
Because the
about it.
startup are so happy about getting a customer and the potential with that, and they learn a lot, and they say they're very grateful for that.
Yeah,
And the corporates or the public sector that actually have someone to solve the solution, the problem, are also super happy. So it's very rewarding job to see that you can make
yeah,
people
that's great.
and companies happy and actually make a difference in the world. That's why I go to work every day, and to help others, more or less.
You have a kind heart, actually.
Yeah, but
The-
it gives me a lot. So right, but we do it for. I mean, I do it for Sweden as a country because it helps Sweden grow. If the company grows,
Yeah.
Sweden grows, and also I make it for the whole world, because if startup that has new ideas can
Yeah.
change the world for the better,
Why not?
it
Why not
is-
we support?
yeah, let's innovate and make the world better. That's my like
Mission.
and yeah mission. Yeah.
All right, I think that's all great because yeah, to me also I love my job actually.
Mm.
So I love to help the startup. So because they keep asking me, how can we go? How can we go to penetrate to the national level?
Yeah.
So my advice, okay, I see. I ask them like, okay, what is your current progress? So what is your intention? Like I mentioned about the market. So you need to see the target market first, and then you need to provide to explain then, oh, what is your technology about your technology. That's the things that we need to see before you completely go better. So that's the thing that I saw.
So you also have a kind heart then.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also it's very rewarding if I have some experience that can help you in Malaysia doing something even better. That will make my day also, right? That's the really nice thing to give forward to you. And
Yeah.
I learn so much when I'm here, so I can also bring back a lot of things when I
Yeah.
go home. So I think it's also the best part of everything is that we should meet, we
Yeah.
should collaborate, and we should learn
Yeah.
from each other, and we should not be afraid of sharing our
Yeah,
learnings,
correct.
and to make things
Yeah.
even better together, right?
I think I would love also to learn about your ecosystem, a Sweden ecosystem, because more or less we like siblings are about in a country like we do the same things. And then I think thank you, Sarah. So it's been inspiring to hear how Sweden's approach to collaboration, design, and global thinking has shaped a thriving innovation ecosystem. Any final advice for Malaysian startups or policymakers who want to build globally competitive innovations?
Oh, it's a
Any
good
advice?
question.
I think the last advice should be the great one, the great advice for you,
Yeah.
from you.
No, I think that you have. I can see that the drive in everyone that I meet here, both the entrepreneurs, but also the government. Lots of you from Aranti, you have a huge drive, and there's a lot of things happening here.
Yeah.
So I think you go to accomplish greatness. Just wait and see. I tell the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So you have
Thank
it. You have a good thing going. But so I think that the startup here needs help, like you're saying. You have now the sandboxes
Sandbox program,
and you have the programs, and so it's also to also find also the startup and the entrepreneurs that can make this happen,
Yeah.
right? So I think because you have
All
some
the
of the
framework.
tools, right? And now we just make it happen. And I think that the startup just need to drive and to make this happen.
I think one fine day maybe we can have a collaboration between our program. Maybe we can do benchmarking in your Ignite Sweden in the
Exactly,
future.
yeah.
So to learn more about your
I
ecosystem.
think it also the startup here needs also find customers here, right?
Yeah,
So we
correct.
need to make sure that the corporates and the public sector are mature enough to work with startups.
Yeah, correct.
And that's what we've been doing a lot in Sweden. It's super crucial for the startup here to find the first customer here.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think thanks again, Sarah, and thank you to everyone tuning in the iNation podcast. Until next time. So see you around.